In this demonstration, we'll take a look at how to access the CLI modes in the Junos OS. Now, the first thing that I want to do here is I've connected to the console port on my device, so I want to log in with my username of root and my root password. Now, once I'm logged in here, you'll notice that I have connected to the Junos OS, so I'm accessing that Junos OS, but I am in kind of a special shell here. I'm in a Linux shell or a Unix shell, so I'm actually technically not within the Junos OS itself. So the Junos OS runs on top of this Linux shell, and I know I'm in that Linux shell because the prompt is showing that % there at the end of the prompt right after the device name. So to get into the Junos OS itself, we type in the command CLI. Now, one of the things that I do want to note is that Unix shell or that Linux shell is allowing you to perform things like file management task or ping or trace route type commands. But if you want to be able to type in Junos OS commands, then you've got to type in CLI, which will take us into the command line interface for the Junos OS. And when you go into the command line interface, you'll notice that the prompt changes to include a greater than sign, and that greater than sign indicates that you're in what we call operational mode. Operational mode is a read-only mode for the Junos OS where you can't make any changes. So at this point, I can't make changes to the device. All I can do is display configuration settings or do things like perform a ping operation or a trace route, but I cannot make changes to the device itself. So that is our operational mode. And just to give you an example, if I wanted to show some of the configuration, for instance, I might use the show interfaces command. And when I use show interfaces, we can see here that it is showing me an interface. It's FE0/0/0. It is enabled, and physically the link is connected. And we can see some statistics on that. So I can see, a description has been assigned to that interface. And I can also see the layer 2 protocol there is Ethernet. I can see the maximum transmission unit is 1514. The speed of this link is 100 megabits, so I can see stats on that. So that's the idea of operational mode. And again, we can't make changes here. So if I want to make changes to the device, I've got to go into configuration mode. And how we go into configuration mode is we type in the configure command. And when I type the configure command in, you'll notice that it tells me I'm entering into configuration mode, and you'll always see in square brackets where you are in the configuration hierarchy. So the Junos OS does have a hierarchy of settings, so we're actually at the root level, so they just show edit in square brackets. But if I wanted to go to one of the sub-levels in the hierarchy, I could do something like this. So I could do edit system. And you'll notice in the square brackets, they've changed the path. So now I'm inside the system portion of the configuration. And if I want to go backwards, I can type in exit. And now I'm back at the root of the configuration. But notice that I'm still inside that configuration mode. And I know that because the prompt shows the pound symbol if you're in configuration mode itself. Now, if I type exit one more time, that'll take me back from configuration mode back to operational mode. And with operational mode, again, all we can do is look at our settings. So in this demonstration, we saw how to access the different CLI modes in the Junos OS.